so much for joining us here at the Extreme Hangout at COP29 in Baku, Azerbaijan. Again, my name is Emily McGlone, working as a director of Peaceboat US.
And founder of the Peaceboat, Yoshioka Tatsuya. Nice to meet you.
Yes, such a pleasure to be here. We love collaborating with the Extreme Hangout. This is actually our third year in a row working together, promoting peace and sustainability at COP. So today we're going to be talking about ships as a container for change. And Peaceboat was started in 1983 by Yoshioka when he was a university student. And we know that at the Extreme Hangout we love supporting youth empowerment for climate action. So we're really excited to share his personal story while also learning more about the Peaceboat activities themselves. So we start out by just admiring this beautiful ship. This is a 2,000 person capacity ship. And Yoshioka, you didn't start out with a ship this size, did you?
Yeah, that's it. Really, to be honest, that 41 years ago I have started when I was 23 years old. And at that time, really I cannot imagine that we can achieve such kind of a big ship, the global voyage. And that's a much smaller and 200 people capacity and so on. Mainly that the student, my friend, and they just start 1 week, no, 10 days cruise. It was the really beginning. So, but after that, that's the year by year, quite a lot of people feel that confidence to continue this project, and especially, of course, including me. So, and now, the 41 years, and this quite big size of the ship is we are doing the world cruise.
Yeah, and this is our ship now called the Pacific World. On board, we carry more than 2,000 participants, and we have all kinds of spaces for education on board. So many ships, as you might know, have different areas that you can use, including maybe a casino or kind of slides and these kind of spaces. But we don't have any space like that, is that right?
Yeah, that's a very interesting point. That is, the image of the cruise is always that Miami style, the casino type, right? So, and but first condition always when I charter a ship or when I purchase a ship is that we will delete casino and we will make the free space where the people can exchange or the discussion or the workshop or such kind of event. And I think that is one of the very unique points of the Peaceboat.
I think so too.
Yeah. You also 20 years you're working, and that's quite the uniqueness of the Peaceboat.
That's right, yeah. On board we have all kinds of workshop spaces, we have a yoga room, we have libraries, and the entire ship is used as a floating educational space.
Yeah.
So I also started working with Peaceboat in 2004, so as Yoshioka just mentioned, around 20 years ago. And we celebrated our 41st anniversary as an organization recently this year.
Yeah.
And in 2017, we received the Nobel Peace Prize as part of the international campaign to abolish nuclear weapons. So Peaceboat has been working not only to sail for peace and the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, but also raising awareness for nuclear disarmament and peace building across the board. Do you want to tell us a bit more about the Nobel Peace Prize?
Yeah, that's. I'm really would like to share with you this next year is a very important year because that is the 80 years anniversary of the end of World War II, and at the same time the 80 years anniversary of the Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And very unfortunately that happened. So, but please think about that nowadays in the Middle East and also Ukraine. And it is a really terrible war, it's ongoing. And also, that's including the Northeast Asia, we are facing about that nuclear war. I think that is a reality. I think we have to accept about that. So what is the way to really try to protect our children or our grandchildren or future generation? Is the only way is to abolish the nuclear weapon. I think that is my very strong belief as the Japanese who had the experience of the nuclear bomb by war. And but also I would like to emphasize that not only the Hiroshima and Nagasaki, there is a lot of places in the world, including the islands like Kiribati or Marshall Islands, there's so many people that suffered by the nuclear weapon test, nuclear bomb test, as you know. So, and I think that is, I really believe the peace and sustainability is, the both of them is essentially important for the human beings to survive for the future. So I think that this peace vote itself is, can be the venue of the try to make a people's network to support each other and work together and power the real, sustainable, and peaceful world.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we're bringing this message to so many countries during our global voyages. You can kind of see a map around the world here on the screen. And Peace Boat's office, the main headquarters, is based in Tokyo, Japan. So we're always starting our voyage from Yokohama, which is our home port, and sailing through the northern hemisphere once or twice a year, and also to the southern hemisphere, all the way down to South Africa, over to Patagonia, in Argentina and Chile. And this year we're also visiting Antarctica, that's coming January. So the Peace Boat is visiting around 20 countries every 3 months.
Unfortunately, we cannot visit Azerbaijan because there is no sea, sorry about that. But almost everywhere in the world we are visiting now, right?
That's right. And everywhere we go, we have guest speakers who come on board. We really believe that the ship can be a space for creative education, for the UN Sustainable Development Goals, but also creating community on board the ship, partnership building, having communication, meeting new people, and creating friendships across borders.
Yeah, I think I really would like to share with you that the community building is quite powerful. And I think that even to achieve that the climate crisis, I think that the community building in all over the world is very important to work together or to cooperate each other and how to make a change in in this world, in this planet. And also that this uniqueness is, peaceful uniqueness is a community building on board, and that ship itself is going around the world. And later on we can show, but by this cruise, people can understand that how much this world, or this planet is beautiful, and also how much ocean is beautiful. Look at this northern light. You saw it also, right?
Yes, it's amazing, especially when the lights are out at night on the deck of the ship. You can see the stars and...
It is amazing. It is really amazing. And maybe not many people knows that the ship is the best method, best tool to see the northern light, because if on the land, if the weather is bad, you cannot see the northern light. But if the ship, we can move to the good weather place and can see it.
Yeah,
beautiful,
it's beautiful. We've definitely had some amazing nights on board the ship. And also just arriving in the ports, you get to go some of the most remote places and beautiful islands that most people are only traveling by ship. For example, Easter Island, known as Rapa Nui, off the coast of Chile in the Pacific.
Yeah, for example, Easter Island is very symbolic because maybe you know that the people completely disappeared from this island. And there's a lot of the discussion why. And one of the biggest reasons is indigenous people who live there is cutting all trees to build this statue, famous the stone statue.
Yeah, the Moai statue.
Yeah, Moai statue, yeah. So, and I think that there's a kind of the symbolism of this island is how the people can survive or what destroy our civilization and so on. And we will visit by ship, right? Ship is something like a floating island. So, and it is symbolically something like, we can feel the synergy effect. Yeah, that's how this planet is survive, is at the same time, what kind of the life we can spend on board.
That's right. All connected to the nature and conservation, and our relationship with nature is similar to being on the ship.
Yeah, and also that's the image of the feeling of the life on board is that we can start to understand that limitation of the resource and the limitation of the energy. So how to utilize about that is very important to survive ourselves in this world.
Absolutely, and also having so many cultures on board and guest speakers from the different regions. These are places that maybe you don't get to learn about firsthand. So Peace Boat is inviting guest speakers from these areas to come on board and share the culture with us while we're traveling as well. So on the side of the ship, we also have the logo of ICAN, the International Campaign to Abolish Nuclear Weapons that we mentioned for the Nobel Peace Prize. And the reason why we're working on this campaign, obviously, is because of Hiroshima and Nagasaki and the humanitarian impact of nuclear weapons in Japan. So in 2008, we brought 103 survivors from Hiroshima and Nagasaki on board to tell their stories.
Yeah.
This has been a legacy project of Peace Boat.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that is a really important moment. But at the same time, I really recognize that we don't have much time against us. Because that over the Hiroshima and Nagasaki survivors, they are over 85 years old now. So it means how many years that they can continue to bring that testimony, right? So, and we don't have time to save the world. That is the strong feeling of that. But that's why we are really working hard and with the Fukushima survivors. And next year, we also organize a big scale of the survivors' testimony cruise.
Yes, and also we have a youth communicators program. So getting young leaders, like Yoshioka mentioned, many of the survivors now are in their 80s up into their 90s, and their testimonies are going to be hard to share in the future. So in order to preserve those testimonies, we have youth communicators coming on board and learning and documenting their stories so we can continue to work towards a nuclear-free future.
Yeah, I think that's also the important point. The community building on board is also create a kind of the very close relationship with the old generation and the young generation. And this is a kind of the very important synergy effect that we are not living alone. We are generation and generation, and we are continuously passing the life baton to pass.
Passing the baton.
Yeah, that is I think that the feeling on board. And
the SDGs logo. So we have two logos painted on the ship. One is ICAN for nuclear disarmament, and the other is the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals logo. Many of you are familiar with the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, raising awareness for so many different issues. And we have an official partnership with the SDG Action Campaign. So everywhere we go, we pull into the port with our ship, and you can see the SDGs logo painted there.
Yeah.
And for that, we've also created a program for young leaders, ages 18 to 30, which is a Youth for SDGs Scholarship Program. So for any young people out there watching today, or young people coming to Extreme Hangout, you're all invited to join us. We have our next voyage actually joining from the ship in Patagonia. We'll be sailing from Argentina down to Antarctica and over to Chile in Patagonia. And that will be coming up January and February this year. And next summer, we'll be sailing from Jamaica to Costa Rica, Panama, and Mexico. So each year, we're hosting different programs on board, raising awareness for sustainability.
Yeah, but one thing I really would like to say that the logo of the SDGs is our ship is only one ship carrying that logo on the hull of the ship. I think that more ship should carrying, and that's not so costly. So I think, but still that is a shipping business or a cruise business people is not so enthusiastic about commit about that sustainability, I think.
Yeah, I think Peace Boat is quite unique in that aspect. Really, we're sailing for sustainable development and raising awareness in every single port. And this is an example actually of New York City, where we had a huge event for the United Nations World Oceans Day. So Peace Boat is also a member of a group called the Friends of UN World Oceans Day. We're coordinating that working group and working very closely on ocean conservation. And every time the ship docks in New York during the month of June, we celebrate the ocean.
Yeah.
So we invite you all on board anytime that we're around in June especially. This year, there's going to be the UN Ocean Conference taking place in Nice in France. We'll also be participating in that conference and then later docking in New York at the end of June to host more events on board. And during those times on board, we're also engaging, especially with United Nations high-level officials. Yoshioka is very engaged in working in negotiating programs only, to help raise awareness. Really, we're an educational organization.
I think that is for the United Nations it is very important the civil society support for their initiative and so on. So and this kind of event also become the encouragement for them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
As you know, being here at COP, nation states are working very hard to come to major decisions, but they can't do it alone. We really have to bring the voice of civil society to the UN and vice versa, work with the United Nations high-level officials to bring those campaigns to civil society. So making sure that we're all working together as one global community.
Yeah.
And this is another amazing program that we started with Peace Boat. Leader of Light was a project that we worked on to bring solar power energy to areas that were experiencing energy poverty, that don't have access sometimes to energy in different ports of call. So we created these solar lamps on board.
On board, eh?
Yeah, we did
We all had
workshops.
the workshop.
Everybody on board learned how to create solar lamps, and then they took that knowledge and brought it to the local communities and did workshops with local groups, including youth, and different areas where they're really in need of these solar power lights. So this has been a great program. We did a whole voyage visiting more than 100 ports of call with Leader of Light.
I like it. Yeah, that's please imagine that you are sailing for 3 months cruise on board, and some of them joining to the ship, and during the cruise, cooperate each other and create this lit of light. And in a port of call, we will bring that the lit of light to the local people, and also we can work together. Is making that the lit of light. I think that is a not simple exchange that creates something together, and that make a very strong the tide of the feeling with the local people and also with the peaceful people.
Absolutely, yeah, great exchange of knowledge and technical use as well. And sometimes we use the ship to carry more than just ideas or projects, also to carry humanitarian goods, for example.
Yeah.
These were wheelchairs that were going to a hospital in Iraq. So we brought them on the ship, disembarked them, and took them through a journey to the hospitals.
Yes.
So really using the ship as a container and a space for humanitarian support as well.
Exactly. And this is also that's a new wheelchair also, but also we collected the second-hand the wheelchair. And in Japan, there's so many wheelchair is there, still they're usable, but they throw away. So, and I think that is also the kind of the upcycle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the things also symbolically is we can show it.
Yeah, and many times we've taken school desks. One time we took an ambulance on board the ship with a crane and put it onto the top deck to Nicaragua.
Yeah,
so
it
really,
was tough.
really amazing projects that Yoshioka is leading, creative problem solving and humanitarian collaborations. And recently, speaking of humanitarian support, we've been sailing with this logo to protect the communities in Gaza, really using our ship as a way to raise awareness for action.
Yeah, I think this is not only this time, but I think the ship itself has a kind of the power. What's power means that when the ship enter, especially passenger ship, enter the port, the people is really gathering or excited and welcome, and maybe that time is the best moment to appeal about kind of the message. And this time and now also, that's of course we are very sad about what's going on in Gaza. So, and the people, the passengers, they really start to discuss. We really need a kind of to say something about that situation. So, and especially this is in the Greece, the pilots, I think, and with the local people, they cooperate, and we make a huge banner, and we introduce about our message there. I think that this kind of the action is always encourage the people now suffering. I also communicate with a friend in Gaza that he was so happy to know about the people gathering to say something about that situation.
Absolutely. One of the things I really love about Peace Boat is we work in special consultative status with the Economic and Social Council of the United Nations, very much in line with supporting communities. But we also have our own voice, so we're able to speak about these issues and never be afraid to call for action, especially in a situation like we're facing today with a genocide happening live in front of our face. We really have to call for a ceasefire right now, today, and every day to protect humanitarian life, and that's number one for us.
Yeah, of course, yeah. that's okay. And
Yes, and then in the ports of call, apart from appealing and calling for actions, we also have a lot of programs on board and then in the ports. So we have many different guest speakers who come and bring these ideas to the ship. And then in the ports of call, we're doing beach cleanups, sometimes doing mangrove reforestation, exchange programs through sports. We have so many programs in every port of call. We call it experiential learning. So really learning through the experiences with local communities.
yeah, I love this peace ball. Sorry, that's can you see this the project is we collect again that second-hand football in Japan and bringing and to the this is I think the Kenya I think so and bring there and the not only that and we play game together with the local young people. So I think that's making more and more the synergy effect.
Absolutely. And we really say this is traveling the Peace Boat way, learning about these activities and supporting local communities. And many people ask, what are you going to teach around the world? And I say, we're not going to teach, we're going to learn from local communities.
Yeah.
And with the guest speakers are teaching on board and sharing workshops, but in the ports, we're going to learn.
That's right.
And recently, as part of our Youth for the SDG Scholarship Program since 2021, we joined the UN Ocean Decade. This is the United Nations Decade of Ocean Science for Sustainable Development. So really getting into more of the science of the ocean and why it's important to promote ocean conservation. So in the left side, you can see this is actually in the Arctic. We went all the way up to Svalbard in Norway, learning about kelp forests, very hands-on. On the top right, we were in London doing an electric boat river cleanup with our partners at U Ocean. And then we also are giving workshops on board. So each student that participates in the program is able to give a 1-hour workshop on their own experiences and support ocean conservation from a youth perspective. So we're really excited to continue this kind of program from now until 2030 and beyond. And then of course we also have another project that's really important to us around climate advocacy. This is our Ocean and Climate Youth Ambassador Program, which was started really to support youth from small island developing states or large ocean states who are on the front lines of climate change and ocean degradation to share their experiences, whether it be sea level rise or coastal erosion. They're really seeing the impacts of climate change firsthand. So we're having a lot of these students joining us on board the ship. This program was also endorsed by the COP presidency in COP23, and we've been continuing to bring these youth leaders not only onto the ship to share their experiences and exchange stories and solutions to climate change, but also to make sure that their voices are heard at the global stage.
So I think that is one of the quite important point is that try to bring that real voice of the local people to the world or to the international society. I think that's very powerful. So our ship can be the container to bring that real voice of the world, people's voice. That is, let's say, one of our important mission, I think.
And you started Peace Boat really to learn about the real history.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Very beginning, that especially that the Japanese, the responsibility of the world. And that is my first motivation, that to make a friendship with the Chinese people and the Korean people. So we really need to learn about that. But after that, I really start to understand also we have to bring the voice to the people in the world.
That's right. And so now as we're sailing for the United Nations Ocean Decade, our biggest goal is to also work towards conservation with our vessel itself. We understand that cruise ships do have an impact on the ocean, and so we're working towards a renewable energy ship. By the end of the Ocean Decade, we're hoping to have this project taking place, and this will be Peace Boat's eco ship, known for its renewable energy and its innovative design. And as we continue raising awareness for the Sustainable Development Goals, we'll keep working on all of these programs around education, land-based programs, and learning on board. But then the vessel itself can be a new tool for conservation.
Sure.
So I think part of our work is really based on the fact that the emissions from cruise ships are increasing. And you could think about there are so many different cruise liners that have fleets of ships, right? We have just one ship. And if we can use our ship to make an example, that would be incredible.
We would like to symbolic the ship. And also that we can utilize ship as ocean research, right?
Yes.
Especially that seabed, the issue.
Yes, we've been sailing really as a ship of opportunity, is what they call it, for the Seabed 2030 campaign. Because as we're sailing, we're constantly measuring the depth of the seabed floor. And what we found out is that only 30% of the ocean has been mapped thus far. And we're trying to reach an entire map of the ocean so that we can actually conserve the deep sea.
Yeah.
Many of you have probably heard about the issue of deep sea mining, which has been a hot topic, also here at COP. We're really in pro of a moratorium on deep sea mining, putting an end to this idea that we're going to be mining the deep sea floor, because once we disturb that seabed, not only could it release the carbon which has been captured into the seabed floor, but it also will disturb the natural habitat of the animals and the ecosystems which are so fragile to this planet. So in order to do that, we need to promote ocean science, education, capacity building, and research. So as Peace Boat is sailing, we've just signed on to the Seabed 2030 campaign this year to start measuring the depth of the seabed floor and help to create the missing areas of the map as we're going around the world.
Yeah.
So with that, Peace Boat's thinking, what's the next stage?
Yes. And video?
Yeah, we're going to show a video. We have a rendering of what the eco-ship is going to be like. But tell us, how did you come up with this idea first, just to give an introduction to eco-ship?
But that's quite simple. Because our ship, Peace Boat, that is conventional passenger ship. So that's why, unfortunately, that we have to spend a fossil fuel. And that is for a long time, I have very strong frustration about that. Why we have to, spend a fossil fuel in this situation. So, okay, nearly 8 years ago, one of the solutions is, let's build most sustainable and greenest ship. That is this idea of the eco-ship.
Amazing. Well, let's have a little look at this video. This is a rendering, of course. We're still in the design phase.
Yeah.
Basically, working to create Peace Boat's eco-ship as a messenger for peace and sustainability, and also as a flagship for the Sustainable Development Goals.
Yeah. Maybe we should move. This is the floor of the solar panel. And balcony also, that's a solar panel.
These are retractable solar sails, so they can go down and come up with the sun and the wind.
Can you see it? And also Liao Botanical Garden. And this is also possible. That's how to say that to feel nature on board, also very important concept of this eco-ship. And the ocean view conference room and theater, and I really would like to invite COP conference here on board. And why they have to have the discussion in the inside the indoor place. I think that the best venue ship is for the COP conference.
With the ocean view, thinking about nature and being surrounded by the ocean.
Anyway, this basketball court is kinetic. So design is as much as possible to feel the ocean.
I've been working with Peace Boat for 20 years, as we said, and this is an incredible vision that Yoshioka has really inspired the organization to make change. And if we can just create this one example, we hope that it will work towards decarbonization of maritime overall. If we can work towards conservation of our ocean, that's the lifeblood of our planet, and is really our best ally in the fight against climate change.
Yeah, I really would like to emphasize one thing, that this ship is not a dream at all. The technologically, completely, everything is possible. But really, I really would like to share with you is, for example, shipbuilding industry and the renewable energy industry is really no communication. They are really something like, they don't believe each other. So, but that's possible. That the present technology, this ship, they can build, and this ship can reduce at least 50% of the emission of the CO2 of the ship for sailing. So, and how much contribution we can create in this planet about the maritime the transportation. But not only that, please imagine that this ship is coming to your town, your port. So in that case, that make an impact. So wow, we can do that, this kind of the symbolic action. So that, I believe, encourages local people to contribute more for sustainability or stop this crisis of the climate.
Absolutely, and it will be really created from the ground up. So inside the ship, having sustainable lighting, using solar panels for all of the electricity on board, and a space for green innovation and technology. So many solutions that are being presented here at COP can also be exhibited on the ship and then shared in all the ports of call to really encourage climate action.
Yeah, additionally, this ship itself can be the showcase of the new technology or innovative, sustainable technology. That's also quite important point. And the ship itself is sailed all over the world. And we are visiting 1 year the 100 countries. So I think that is make an impact. I really believe so. So this is nearly 80,000 ton and 260 meter and 800. That's 2,000 passenger plus.
Yeah, a little bit about the technical side, and then by using the solar sails, reducing our CO2 emissions and working towards a zero carbon emission ship of the future.
Yeah, definitely. That's I really would like to create, build that zero emission ship. But so far 50% is the first step.
Yes, but definitely we have to go step by step. This is going to be a first time project for the shipping industry.
Yeah, this is the solar panel.
Yeah, we'll be covering exactly to use 100% of the lighting needs, at least with the solar panels. And you can see in this photo that the solar panels are flat.
Yeah.
So that would be how they retract to go up and down, depending on the lighting and what's happening outside in nature. And as we mentioned, the 6-story, soaring green space. So maybe having, this is the plant kingdom, that we had learned about. I don't know if anybody's ever been to Gardens by the Bay in Singapore, but they have an incredible exhibition of biodiversity there. And this is kind of a similar idea, how to show different kinds of biodiversity, and people can learn about climate change and the impacts on nature through this space.
Beautiful, place. And this is also view, the venue. I mentioned already about the really I would like to invite that COP conference or ocean conference. And I think that the best place the political leaders can decide. I'm so frustrated also that they are discussed in a hotel banquet room or indoor place. That's impossible to find a solution, I think.
Yeah, the ocean definitely inspires when you have a view while you're conversing.
Yeah, to help them. Oh, that is a kinetic disco on board. But this is small things that you can know that by dancing you can make energy, right? So, but that kind of mindset is important, I think. So, and in this ship, there is many hints about how we can create a sustainable life. And this is a kind of the smart meter to know about that, how much energy they're consuming a day or how much water you're consuming a day, and very easily we can organize this kind of things.
Yeah, it's important to think about the human behavior, right? If you can think about each day how much energy you're using and see that meter, it will help to raise awareness. And then using the ship also as a space for citizen science, continuing to work on ocean research and education as part of the United Nations Decade of Ocean Science.
Yeah. 50%.
Yeah, reducing by 50%, yes. And then coordinating with so many partners as momentum to change. So one of the reasons why we're here at COP is that we want to share this idea with many communities as we're traveling the world, but also to encourage change right now, because we're not the only ones that should be carrying this campaign. Our goal is to make it a global effort that everyone can work towards decarbonization in whatever sector that you're a part of, whether it be the private sector, public, United Nations, youth engagement, we can all really work together to make this positive change.
Yeah. And then now, really, that's this sail is the wind power is becoming important in marine transportation. So, but anyway, that's I think that the famous word of our friend is determined, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that it is very important now that we have to decide what we do and what we can do for the future, this planet. And I think this is not only for ocean, it is as a symbolic project that I really would like to make this project real and to achieve the sailing eco-ship global voyage. That is my real dream.
Yeah, we're so close, and within the next few years, if we're just getting the final designs, fundraising together with our partners, and building this community, we'll be sailing with a renewable energy ship of the future, and that will really be a flagship for sustainability, but also for climate action. And we can hope to change the maritime industry, along with inspiring green technology around the world.
Yes. Our friend, Christian Figueres, is always saying that the famous word is stubborn optimism. And I think that is a very good word. So, and the new president in the United States is a little bit not so friendly for the climate issue. However, we are very happy to take action and toward the real sustainable world.
That's right. How many of you guys would like to join us on the eco-ship in the future? All right. Let's have Extreme Hangout on board.
Welcome, welcome.
I'd like to say thank you so much to everybody for joining us today. Thank you to the Extreme Hangout organizing team and all of the volunteers. There's been such a warm welcome here at COP every year, and we really look forward to having you all join us on board and continuing to work towards climate action.